There is a silent reason why you are reading this title right now, as night falls. It is not futile curiosity. It is a call. It is a gentle but insistent anguish that tightens in your chest when the house goes quiet, and the thoughts you pushed aside during the day decide to take over the living room of your mind. You are not looking for a sign. You are looking for relief from a feeling you cannot name. That something is wrong, but you don't know what. And the urgency to seek answers from the invisible world is, in truth, the attempt of your tired body to find a shortcut to safety. What you don't know is that this request made in the dark, with a contracted heart, only attracts more questions. It never brings peace. You have probably heard that 95% of your reality is controlled by the subconscious. Dr. Bruce Lipton, that brilliant cellular biologist, discovered that genes are not your destiny. The beliefs stored in your mind's autopilot are what command the ship. It is as if you were the captain of a ship shouting orders from the deck, but the rudder has been programmed for decades to turn in the opposite direction. You want peace, but the rudder turns toward fear. You want answers, but the rudder turns toward doubt. The message you ask from the Alam Gaib will not arrive as long as you don't realize that the steering wheel is in the wrong hand. What Neville Goddard called the art of imagination reminds us that reality crystallizes in the state between wakefulness and sleep, when the mind is most open, and it is precisely this state, the state of night, that you fear the most and that you most need to learn to inhabit. Therefore, tonight do not expect a mystical prediction. You will receive an invitation to dismantle the hidden program that has been sabotaging your silences. We will decode why anxiety disguises itself as spirituality, what the trap is of seeking outside what can only be resolved within, and how to transform this moment of tightness into the most powerful key of your quantum reprogramming. The message is not about what will happen. The message is about who you are being while you wait. Have you noticed that the urgency for spiritual answers or signs from the beyond always increases when tiredness hits? It is no coincidence. It is your nervous system, exhausted from processing the day, trying to find a shortcut to safety. But by asking the invisible world to solve your sleepless night, you are, unknowingly, feeding a cycle of fear. You are telling your body, I am in danger, I need an external savior. The request coming from this state is not faith, it is a desperate cry from a dysregulated system. True spirituality does not begin with requests. It begins with the courage to feel what is hurting without asking the pain to go away. Quantum physics and neuroscience show that the electromagnetic coherence of your heart is the antenna that tunes into your reality. An anxious heart, contracted by fear of the future, emits a frequency of lack. And the message from the invisible world that arrives at this frequency is never the solution. It is always the echo of the problem. You ask what will happen, and the universe obediently returns more unanswered questions. You ask for a sign, and your mind, addicted to cortisol, will interpret any shadow or noise as confirmation of your worst-case scenario. This is why anxiety seems to feed on your own spirituality. You are not praying, you are ruminating with pretty words. The true message of the Alam Gaib is not a prediction about tomorrow. The message is a mirror. Your nighttime state, that restlessness, that feeling that something needs to be resolved now, is the hidden program that has been sabotaging your daytime life. You waste your potential not for lack of talent, but because your primary energetic signature is that of someone who is always preparing for disaster, even when everything is calm. The night is only heavy for those who carry the entire day inside their head, trying to control the uncontrollable. The question you should be asking is not what will happen. The question is, why do I need so badly to know? Breathe, but not as a motivational technique. Breathe as an act of biological honesty. Sit or lie down and, without changing anything, just notice where your body holds the urgency to know. Is it in your chest? Is it in your stomach? Now understand, you do not need the answer. You need the courage to feel the discomfort without asking it to go away. This is reprogramming the epigenetics of fear. As long as you try to escape the feeling by running to a spiritual request, you will remain trapped. The first step of quantum manifestation is not to ask. It is to listen to the silence you have been avoiding. And that silence hurts at first, but only at first. Imagine a lost child in a dark forest. If she keeps screaming for help non-stop, Her panic will drown out the sound of the rescuer's footsteps, and she will spend all the energy she could have used to keep warm. The invisible world is not on strike. It is calm, waiting for you to stop screaming for 5 minutes. The message you need to know tonight is that the rescue will not arrive with the boom of thunder. It will arrive as the sound of your own breath calming down, and you will only hear it when you stop asking to be saved and start inhabiting the place where you are. The place where you are, no matter how dark it seems, is already sacred enough to contain all the answers. There is a tiredness that is not of the body. It is the tiredness of trying to vibe high. Tiredness from affirming, visualizing, giving thanks before receiving. It feels like a constant struggle, as if you were trying to hold a ball underwater. The moment you relax, it shoots up and hits you in the chin. This exhaustion is not a sign that you are weak. It is a sign that you are operating on the wrong layer of the mind. You are using conscious willpower to fight a subconscious program that is 10,000 times more potent. And this silent struggle is the greatest waste of creative energy that exists. You spend so much energy trying to stay good that you have no energy left to simply live. Bruce Lipton explains that the subconscious processes 20 million bits of information per second, while the conscious mind processes only 40. When you try to vibrate high, it's 40 bits fighting against 20 million. The result is not elevation. It is a cognitive dissonance that generates more anxiety. The failure is not in your intention. It is in your strategy. You want to change the flower without touching the root. The alam gaib does not respond to your conscious scream. It responds to your basal frequency, the one running on autopilot while you sleep or get distracted. You can affirm, "I am abundant" 1,000 times, but if your subconscious believes the world is dangerous and scarce, your real vibration will be that of scarcity. And the universe, which is a field of perfect responses, will return more opportunities for you to feel scarce. The key is not to try to feel good. The key is to stop being afraid of feeling bad. The fatal mistake of those who study manifestation is believing they need to suppress sadness, anger, or fear to be a good creator. This is spiritually performative. Nature does not reject the storm so the sun can shine. The storm is what clears the air for the sun to emerge more intensely. When you allow the dark night inside you without judgment, without trying to fix it, you stop feeding the resistance. And without resistance, the frequency corrects itself, like a lake that becomes clear when you stop stirring the mud at the bottom. Your attempt to flee the mud is what keeps the water dirty. The mud is not the enemy. It is nutrients. It just needs to settle. Therefore, here is a technique to apply at home, tonight, without effort. It is simple, but it is not easy. First, when the nighttime anguish comes, name it as if it were a visitor. Hello, anxiety. I see you have come to visit me. Do not fight. Just acknowledge. Second, place your hand on your chest and breathe slowly, not to make the anxiety go away, but to give it space to exist in your body. You are not trying to get rid of anything. You are offering hospitality to a feeling. Third, repeat to yourself, "I don't need to solve this now. I don't need to know the message now. I just need to allow this feeling to move through me." This is cardiac coherence. This is the end of the struggle. This is opening the door for the subconscious to be reprogrammed, not by effort, but by acceptance. Think, as Greg Braden teaches us, that your energy field is like a guitar string. If you want the string to produce a pure, resonant note, a real manifestation, you cannot hold it tight. You must pluck it and let go. Constant tension produces a muffled, lifeless sound. Your life has sounded muffled because you are trying to control the note as it vibrates. You hold on to fear tightly, hold on to anger, hold on to the need for control, and the note that comes out is out of tune. The message from the Alam Guide tonight is, let go of the string. Allow the silence between the notes to be as sacred as the sound. It is in that silence, which you so avoid, that the universe reorganizes the molecules to give you what you didn't even know you needed. Letting go is not weakness. It is the most advanced physics of creation. There is a very common energetic trap among those who seek messages from the invisible world. The person remains parked in a state of waiting. They wait for the signal to act, the confirmation to trust, the right moment to be happy. This state is biologically identical to paralysis. The brain, addicted to the dopamine of anticipation, to the endless what if, refuses to release the neurotransmitters of present action. You waste your most creative potential, which is the power to influence the now, because your eyes are glued to tomorrow, asking tomorrow for permission to live. It is as if you have a movie ticket in hand, but you stay outside waiting for the newspaper critic to say if the film is good. Dr. Joe Dispenza brilliantly demonstrates that personality, the set of repeated thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, creates personal reality. If your personality is that of someone who waits for signs, you are programming your brain to recognize only patterns of waiting. You will receive exactly that, a life of waiting. The Alam Ghaib is not a travel agency that will send you an itinerary. It is a field of potentialities. But you only access the potentialities of action when you assume the identity of someone who already acts, who already trusts, who already is. The message does not come before the change of state. The message is the change of state. You don't become someone who manifests after receiving the sign. You receive the sign after you decide to be the one who manifests. The revelation that might hurt, but liberates is this. You are not waiting for a message. You are hiding behind the need for a message. It is more comfortable to ask for a sign than to take responsibility for a choice. It is safer to blame the universe that doesn't respond than to admit you are afraid to take the first step without guarantees. The hard but liberating truth is that the invisible world has already responded. The answer is your inner silence, the echo of your own hesitation. You are stuck not because destiny is cruel, but because you turn the search for guidance into an excuse not to live. The question is not when will the sign arrive. The question is, what am I putting off doing while I pretend to wait? Observe the pattern tonight, with honesty. When the feeling of I need to know something arises, ask yourself, what am I avoiding doing right now? Which call not made, which postponed conversation, which gesture of self-care have I been putting off? The universe will not give you a treasure map while you refuse to walk 10 centimeters toward tidying up your own room. Manifestation begins with the micro-action. In the glass of water you drink with attention, in the stretch you do before sleeping, honoring your tired body, in the message you send a friend without expecting a reply. These are the true messages of the Alam Ghaib. They are in the details you consider too small to be divine, but the divine only reveals itself in the microscopic. And to finish this theme, a metaphor of the seed. Imagine you planted a seed. The message from the invisible realm, the soil, to the seed is not, grow, flourish, bear fruit tomorrow. The message is, absorb nutrients now, extend your roots now, break your shell now. The seed does not ask the soil what the flower will look like. If it did, it would rot. Your nighttime anxiety is the seed wanting to see the flower before allowing itself to break. Be the seed that honors the dark. Night is not the time to know about tomorrow. It is the time to plunge your roots into the depths of your being, in silence without knowing. It is in this blind dive that all the power to flourish resides. Tomorrow will be the flower, but the flower does not need to worry about the flower. It just needs to absorb the dark. Now. Many of us have learned in certain spiritual circles that an enlightened person does not feel anger, does not feel jealousy, does not feel fear. So every night, when these ugly emotions try to emerge in the silence of the bedroom, you swallow them. You take a deep breath and affirm, I am light, I am love, while inside the dark broth boils. This act of repression is not spiritual elevation. It is a very serious energetic rupture. You are splitting yourself, and this internal split is what attracts confusing external experiences, draining relationships, and a constant feeling that nothing ever works out completely. You are not whole, you are half, and the invisible world, which is a field of wholeness, cannot connect with a half. Physics shows that you cannot create something from nothing, only transform it. Your repressed anger does not disappear, it transforms into apathy. If swallowed sadness turns into chronic back tension, your silenced fear turns into generalized anxiety. This is the energetic failure that most performative spiritualities hide. The Alam Ghaib does not want a repressed saint. A whole frequency, which includes the lows and the highs, is much more powerful and creative than a frequency that only plays positive notes and goes out of tune at the first negative note life plays. Darkness is not your enemy. Darkness is the screen upon which light draws. Without a screen, light has no form. The reprogramming of beliefs that Dr. Bruce Lipton teaches does not happen through positive force. It happens through coherence. Trying to replace a fear belief with a love belief without first processing the emotion of fear is like painting a moldy wall. The mold will seep through the new paint in weeks. The night is your ally because it brings the mold to the surface. The bad feeling you want to run away from is not a mistake. It is the building material of your new reality. You need to look at it, feel it, and ask, what have you come to show me? Not to drown in it, but to integrate it. The wall does not become clean because you ignore the mold. It becomes clean because you scrape off the mold, treat the wall, and only then apply the paint. Night is the time to scrape. It's uncomfortable, but it's the only way. Pay attention to the subtle signs of misalignment you have been ignoring. Excessive tiredness upon waking even after sleeping 8 hours, a feeling that something is out of place, but for no apparent reason, irritability with small noises, a desire to stay in the dark, but without being sleepy. These are not flaws, they are echoes of unfelt emotions. They are messages from the invisible world trying to pierce your I'm fine shell. Tonight's message is, allow yourself not to be fine. Allow yourself to feel the weight, but with a different intention. Not to complain, not to victimize yourself, but to release. Lie down in bed, and if a tear comes, let it come. If a tightness comes, feel it without telling a story about it. The tear is not weakness. It is the shell opening. It is the muscle of your soul contracting to expand. And then one final analogy for you to take with you. Your vital energy is a river. False spirituality builds dams called toxic positivity. I can't feel this, it's not vibrational. The water stops flowing, becomes stagnant, dark, foul. Then you wonder why you can't manifest anything new, because there is no flow. The Alam Ghaib is the ocean. It does not want a stagnant dam. It wants the river running, with its curves, its rapids, even its floods. The message you need to know tonight is that demolishing the dam hurts. The trapped water will rush out with force. It will flood everything. But after it leaves, the riverbed is revealed clean, and the sweet water flows again. The discomfort of the night is the demolition. Bless the discomfort. It is the only path to flow. Without the pain of the dam breaking, there is no river reaching the sea. Deep down, beneath the anxiety, the search for messages, the urgency for answers, there is a desire you may have never put into words. What you really want is not a message. What you want is permission to rest, to let go of the responsibility to control everything, to trust that even if you do nothing, the universe will not collapse. Beneath the nighttime restlessness, there is a soul tiredness, a tiredness from having to always be on alert, always calculating, always praying, always manifesting. This tiredness is your greatest waste of potential, because real creation does not come from the effort of making it happen. It comes from the state of allowing it to happen through me. You are not the doer, you are the permissor, and you have exhausted yourself trying to be the doer. Neuroscience confirms that the alpha-theta brainwave state, that drowsy state between wakefulness and sleep, is the gateway to the subconscious. It is at the threshold of sleep that you can reprogram the 20 million bits. But you do not reprogram by forcing. You reprogram by becoming the silent observer of your own mind, without judgment, without intention to change, just witnessing thoughts, like clouds. In this state of witness, you access a field of creative neutrality. It is from this field, not from urgency, that synchronicities are born, the meaningful coincidences, the real messages from the Alam Ghaib. They do not come with trumpets. They come as a thought that arises from nowhere, a calm intuition, a name that pops into your mind, and minutes later that person calls you. This is not magic. It is you being silent enough to hear. Your urgency for an answer today is an insult to quantum time. The universe does not operate on your wall clock. It operates on the time of integration. You cannot force a flower to bloom with a hairdryer. You can only water it and wait. Night is the time to water, not to pull the plant out of the pot to see if the root has grown. The urgent message you think you need now probably won't change anything tomorrow, but the peace you cultivate now, that will change everything. The wasted potential is that of the person who does not know how to rest in certainty, who needs proof. The proof is not for the universe. The proof is for your ego that does not trust. The universe has already proved itself. You just haven't accepted the proof because it came in silence, without a signature. So here's a technique to apply tonight, before sleeping. And please do not turn this into another task. Just allow. Lie down and instead of asking for a message, offer a state. Close your eyes and breathe deeply, 3 times. Then visualize a white screen in front of you, and just observe. Do not try to see anything. Do not try to force an image. If a thought comes, just see it as a passing cloud and return to the white screen. If a sensation comes in the body, breathe into it. Do this for 5 minutes. You are not seeking an answer. You are training your brain for silence. It is in this silence that the subconscious, without the interference of your fear, reorganizes reality. That is when the invisible world speaks. Without words. Just as a silent certainty in the chest. A certainty that everything is all right. A certainty that you can sleep. A certainty that the message is not a sentence. The message is peace. And the final analogy for you to take from tonight is that of the musician and the music. The most talented musician is not the one who presses the piano keys the hardest. It is the one who allows the music to flow through them. They studied, they practiced, but at performance time, they empty their mind and trust their body. Your life is the music. You have practiced fear for decades. You have pressed the keys of worry until your fingers hurt. The message from the Alam Gaib tonight is, let go of the keyboard. Lie down in bed and be the listener. The music you so want to compose already exists in the quantum field. It just needs a clean channel to be heard. Become the silence between the notes. Become the space that allows the sound. Finally, become the one who rests in the certainty that, even without knowing, everything is moving towards your good. You don't need to play the music. You need to be the concert hall. And a concert hall makes no noise. It just allows. Now, allow yourself to sleep. Throughout this night we walked a path that was not outward, but inward. We remembered that the anxiety that tightens the chest in the dark is not a divine message, but an ancient survival program running on autopilot. We saw that the effort to vibrate high all the time is a form of resistance to your own emotional truth, and that the most wasted potential was in the anxious wait for permission you always had to simply be who you are. The night did not come to haunt you. The night came to return you to yourself. Every tear not avoided, every tightness felt without escape, every breath that welcomed the discomfort was a brick removed from the dam wall. The river is beginning to flow again. Dr. Bruce Lipton teaches us that the cell does not evolve by external command, but by perception of the environment. If you create the internal environment of safety, without struggle, without urgency, just presence, your biological body, your mind, and your energy field will reorganize for health and manifestation. Clearly, the cell does not need to be saved. It needs an environment that makes it feel safe to open up. You do not need a saving message. You need an internal environment of peace. And you have just begun to build that environment, breath by breath, sensation by sensation. The flower is not born from desire. It is born because the soil was ready. Tonight you prepared the soil. And allow yourself to hear Dr. Joe Dispenza's final question as a seal for this message. If you couldn't change anything in the external world, but you could completely change the person you are being on the inside, would you be happy? The answer to that question is the key that unlocks the invisible world. The final message of the Alam Gaib is not about what will happen tomorrow. It is about who you choose to be now, in this exact moment of breath. The invisible world is already on your side. It always has been. The stars do not go out when you close your eyes. The silence does not become empty when you stop speaking. The message does not need to be written when you become the message itself. So rest. You no longer need to search. You just need to be. And by being, you finally allow the invisible to become visible. Through you.